Hello, everyone. This is Marisa Moris. Welcome to the show today. Anyway, thank you for joining the show today. First off, later on in the show, likely, this is always my plan with my show. If you've never heard me before, today we start in the root. But tomorrow, next week, we'll be in the second chakra, and we'll have him on, and I'll likely channel our guides, because that's how I started with all of this. I was in mortgage, and had a car accident. Prior to that, lost somebody that I truly thought that I cared about for a very, very long time in my early adult life, from my late teens to my mid-20s. Had a very codependent relationship, a drug addict boyfriend. I went through chemical addiction, all of that stuff, rehabs, the works. And when he died, that kind of sent me off my rocker and into a whole nother state of consciousness of just trying to figure out life. And from there, just kind of spiraled out and self-destruction and all that, and ended up having a couple pretty bad car accidents where I ended up meeting my higher self. And in those accidents, whether it was a dream or a hallucination or what it was, it caused me to ask questions of who I was, because when I was outside my body, I kept saying, Marissa's an idiot. I don't want to be her anymore. And this girl that looked like me that I was talking to kept saying, you need to go back. You have too much to do. And you know, I talk about it in the Snow Globe or one of the books that I have on the website. Actually, all of the ones that I posted them last night, actually, on www.discoverintuition.com. The website, check it out. I wanted to make sure to let you guys know that before I forgot. And so after, when I first got into all of this, I didn't get into healing, although I guess you would consider me a healer, because I teach intuitive Reiki. It's kind of my own form of Reiki. I love the spiritual practice of self-awareness that Reiki carries, and that's why I chose to stick with that modality over all the other ones I've been trained in. But I would say first and foremost, out of anything, I'm a channeler. So I heard Jerry and Esther Hicks on something about the law of attraction at some point when I was still in loans, and I thought, wow, that'd be really cool to write a book without having to write a book. Wow, I want to be a channel too. It was just so out of the blue. So if any of you out there listening to this, or if you're wanting to become intuitive, you're wanting to become psychic, you're wanting to be a channeler, you're wanting to be a healer, if any of these things inside of you are kind of coming up for you, so you're listening to shows like this, or you're listening to other things, or reading books about the other dimensions and the abilities that we can tune into, that everybody has, then likely your soul has those abilities within it. Likely that's part of your path, because like my guides always say, if your mind continues to go to something, if you continue to think of something over and over and over, there's usually a reason behind it. So if you're thinking, wow, that's so cool that she can channel, or that's so cool that she's intuitive, or that person's a psychic, I wish I could do that. Likely you can. And it's just opening up the channels between where you are, where your higher self is, and where this universal energy is coming in from, to make yourself a clear channel so that you can receive information and then bring it into these lower, denser realms. And when I say lower, denser realms, I mean the earth plane. When somebody passes away, their consciousness goes into their spirit body. Their physical body is deceased, so they're no longer on the physical plane. They're in the spirit plane now. And there's a lot of different planes over on the other side that me and my dad have learned about over the years. And then when I met my friends Bill and Gail through my dad about a couple years ago, we started channeling, and we had a project that we were doing called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. So we would ask all the unknowns of the universe, all the mysteries of the universe. And I've got a couple of those books. I've got one on mediumship on the website as a PDF, just a little ebook pamphlet that you can get as well on my website. But being a channel has been so much fun for me, and it's awesome because through the training that I've put myself through lots of meditation, lots of self-awareness, lots of calling myself on my own crap, lots of laughing at myself and getting mad at myself. But in that process of doing that, and believe me, I mean, every single day I'm like, oh my God, listen to what I'm saying. I'm like a crazy person. Oh my gosh, why is Marissa saying that? I start referring to myself as Marissa, like I'm not her or something, because I'm so embarrassed of what I'm saying. But it's spirituality isn't about reading the books or even meditating or even doing healings on ourselves or preaching to other people about, needing to connect with God or anything like that. What spirituality is to me and what we're going to talk about today in the show, what rising our consciousness is about being conscious. And all that is being aware. So if you're being a B, I don't know, I'm not allowed to cuss on the radio. I don't know if that's a cuss word or not, but if you're being a you-know-what to somebody and you can feel that you're being that way and you're fighting to be right and you're arguing with them, even though you know you're wrong, there's a piece of you inside of you that's sitting there going, oh my God, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? And I do it all the time. I do it all the time with my husband. And I joke about this in my classes that I teach because we go through a 21-day cleanse after the first level of the class. And I always do it with the students. And my husband always says, I like you so much after you teach level 1. I like you so much because one of the things that I choose in my cleanse that I do is that I don't need to be the devil's advocate. Because that drives me crazy when people do that. It's like, oh, look, blah, 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 that like my dad used to say about some people, it's like, oh, look at the wall's white. No, I think but what if it's off-white? Oh, okay, it's off-white. No, I think it's white. So it's kind of like they're always kind of trying to show you the other perspective, the other side. And I've found that energy right there is kind of like in response to people feeling like maybe somebody's closed-minded, but what we see in others is what we have in ourselves, is what the guides have taught me over the years. So one of my things is not being the devil's advocate, not needing the last word, which is huge for me, and not needing to be right. So I invite you guys today. I call it my gripe list. When I start teaching classes, I have people create what's called a gripe list. And anybody who's on here today, I'm sure you've been to at least one spiritual class or something where you go and there's that one person in class where you just want to like, oh my God, why are they saying that? Oh my gosh, they're trying to take all the attention, or they're trying to ask stupid questions, or whatever it is that they're doing is driving you absolutely insane to the point where you almost can't even concentrate on the teacher, or the teacher is doing something that bothers you. So I call it my gripe sheet or my gripe list, where you write down the things that you're griping about each day. And if you can keep a little list of the things that you're griping about each day in real time, you'll start to notice the things within you that you can release. And when you release those things, the technique I'm going to teach you guys today, working with the root chakra and the subconscious mind and the inner child and that piece of you that needs to feel safe, the ego energy goes down. And I'm not a big fan of the people who say ego's evil, ego's bad, ego's this, ego's that. I don't think the ego's bad in the sense that, we need to completely get rid of it, because then we wouldn't be human. The whole point of being human is to have an ego and have that ego personality just have a mind of its own. And the consciousness that we bring to the table when we become spiritual, quote unquote spiritual, is that we're aware of when we are our ego, we are aware of when we are our higher self, we are aware of when we are our spirit. So we have all these different layers of consciousness, and all these different layers of consciousness kind of go along with our chakra system. So this Rise Up series that I'm going to do today is the root chakra. I'm going to assist everybody in clearing out those things that irritate you about other people. And believe me, when you start to clear these things out from the root, it's amazing how you can go through life without getting annoyed at people. I had a friend who recommended an ebook to me, and she says, "Oh, this girl is amazing. You need to listen to her. She sounds just like you. Her teachings are very similar. You guys are like, I mean, two peas in a pod. She's awesome." I mean, she was giving me a compliment. So I'm in the process of writing my book. So I download the book on Audible. I'm listening to it, and I'm like, "Oh, God, this girl's awful. I can't even listen to her. She's sarcastic. She thinks she's so cool. She's not taking her job seriously. I just couldn't stand her. I turned her off after like 2 minutes." When my guides want to talk to me, I hear in my right ear, "What we'd like to say." And they say it over and over. What we'd like to say. What we'd like to say. What we'd like to say. Until I'm like, okay, what? So later on in the day after that, listening to this audiobook that I couldn't listen to for any more than 2 minutes, I hear, "What we'd like to say, what we'd like to say, what we'd like to say." So I'm like, okay, what would you guys like to say? Okay. And they say, "What we'd like to say is practice what you preach. Create a gripe list. Why are you annoyed? Why are you frustrated? Why don't you want to listen to this person?" And I'm thinking, like, what are you, her fan and not mine? Like, what's the deal here? And obviously I was going through a little bit of a lull in my mood. I'm very hormonal, 8 months pregnant. So actually I wasn't that pregnant at that time, so I didn't have too much of an excuse. But anyway, so I went through and I listed, she's sarcastic. She's not taking her job seriously. She is, I think it was sarcastic, and she's not taking her job seriously. So they said, okay, well, what we'd like to say is, how old is the you that thinks that? And I thought, I've never taken it from this perspective before. And this is such a powerful exercise if you guys do this. It's such a powerful exercise. And it goes right along with the root chakra rise up stuff that we're going to talk about today. So you don't have to be psychic. You don't have to be intuitive. You don't have to be a clairvoyant. You don't have to have any abilities to just pull from your mind how old you feel the judgmental piece of you is. So I said, okay, who thinks she's sarcastic? And because of it, she thinks she's so cool. And I heard 14, or I felt 14 within me. So I thought, okay, where was I when I was 14? And I thought back and I thought, you know what? That's when we moved to Escondido from Encinitas, moved to a completely different school, but we only moved there for like 6 months because we got robbed when we moved there, and it was this big, huge mess. So we moved back home, and I rejoined all of my elementary school friends back in junior high, but they had all kind of dispersed into different cliques and stuff. So when I came back, I felt friendless. And so that 14-year-old was very insecure, very, very, very insecure. And that was the me that was judging this girl for being sarcastic. And I realized that when I was that age, when I felt judged, or I felt like nobody liked me, or I felt left out, I'd get like, try to be funny. I'd try to be sarcastic, or just not care about anything, because if I don't care, then I don't care, and then I can't look like I'm lonely and sad and have no friends or whatever. So the guides came in and they said, okay, well, what we'd like to do is we'd like to take that 14-year-old and cleanse her and clear her of these judgments, cleanse her and clear her of these insecurities. And it was funny because after we did this, which I'm going to take you guys through today, so you can clear your own stuff, and I'm going to assist in holding space for that. Even if you're listening to the show later on, you'll still be able to take advantage of the energies that are being kind of installed in this recording. But it was funny because after that, and after another gripe that I had about her got cleared, they said, now what we'd like to say is go listen to the book. So I was like, okay, fine. So I turned it back on. And it was awesome. I loved it. I was like, wow, this is a great book. This girl's cool. I'd totally hang out with her. She's awesome. And I realized that my 14-year-old was not allowing me to see that she was just having fun. She was just having fun. She wasn't being all stuffy pants and serious and trying to, get her point across by being boring. She was actually having fun and sharing her message, and I thought it was great. So what that taught me was, the guide said, so what did this teach you? And I said, well, to clear my inner child when I'm griping about people and allowing them to aggravate me. And they said, well, that, and they basically said that by clearing this it was showing me a lesson of what I needed to, my spirit was trying to show me something that I needed to handle in my life today. So I thought, oh my gosh, my book, I'm writing my book. So I went through my book. I looked for all the areas where I was being sarcastic, and I realized that they were the parts of the book where I was talking about Christ, or because I'm a I believe in Christ. My dad's a Christian, so we kind of merged kind of Christianity and spirituality in a lot of our books. And then, but I believe in Christ. It's not necessarily Jesus; it's a consciousness. But when I feel judged, I try to be funny or sarcastic and put it off. So I went through the book and I removed all of those areas where I was feeling judged and acting that way. So that's a long-winded example of what you guys can do. So right now, before we do this grounding meditation, what I want you to do is I want you to think of something that just really, really irritates you, something that just gets under your skin, whether it's loud people, annoying people, passive-aggressive people, people that beat around the bush, people that are rude, whatever it is that it is, we're going to clear that out. We're going to do a little grounding meditation, and then we're going to go into getting some callers, and we'll just go from there. So I'm calling in the guides now. Think of something most recently that bugged you. And it can be about your spouse, or it can be about a friend or a family member, or just nobody in general at all. All of these things are carried within our root chakra. Our root chakra is like a hard drive. So just think of all the things that you are kind of in this little, like, look at it like a little record or something down there, and it has all this information. And we're going to go in with this technique I'm teaching you right now, and we're going to clear out the hard drive. I don't know what the guides are going to do. I'm actually not even sure what they're going to do. So let's just set the intention that only beings, energies, and frequencies of the highest level of love, light, and unconditional love may enter into each individual's room, into their space, into their electromagnetic field, and that of their home, workplace, car, wherever you're doing this exercise. So for you, whoever the divine is, God is, creator, whoever it is, in your mind, just ask them now to rise me up. Say, rise me up, or rise up. And I want you to actually visualize or feel or sense a spinning disc underneath your feet. Okay, so this disc is going to be where what's called your Earth Star chakra. It's about 5 feet below you. It's always there. It's a piece of you, but it's under the ground. I want you to imagine kind of a spinning disc. And we're going to ask each person's higher self to infuse this disc with whatever it is that they need right now. Whatever it is that you need, whether it's attention, love, consideration, unconditional love, whatever. There we go. So in your mind, rise up. And I want you to imagine this little disc under your feet. We'll get a little bit of music in here, and we're going to call in my guide, Michael, that I channel. So Michael's here right now. Dear children, as we step into your energy today, we bring to you the utmost respect, the utmost love, the utmost consideration. And in doing these shows, we absolutely love that we are able to connect with each and every one of you to bring to you the healing, the attention, the love that you need at this time. For being human is a very lonely thing at times. Being human almost hurts at times. And we know that you have hurt. We know what many of you have been through, and we know that it continues. So today, what we'd like for you to do is to allow us to step in and relieve you of these fears, the anxieties, these pains, these guilts that this child within you carries and does not know how to let go of. So finding a place to relax, just close your eyes. And as you breathe in through your nose, breathe in for the count of 2. 1, 2. And then out of your mouth, release for 2 seconds. And then go up to the count of 3, breathing in through your nose. And as you do this, we are infusing each of your higher selves with any energies that you need in order to open up the channels between you and that which is your higher self. For many, it will take lifetimes trying to connect with this higher piece of self. And when they cross over, they realize, oh my goodness, I was my higher self. I didn't realize that I was trapped in a younger piece of myself. I didn't realize it. So at this time, we clear out all energies that are blocking any channels between each individual listening to this in the present or future, between them and their higher self, their big self, as this channel calls it, the real self. From directly above you, what we'd like for you to do is to visualize either yourself or a huge orb of spinning light. This orb of spinning light is your higher consciousness. That is you, looking down upon you as a human, watching, guiding, and leading. But only when you ask for help. You have free will, dear child. You have free will, and this is the greatest gift of all. This is the greatest gift of all. So from above, what we'd like for you to do is to just imagine a tendril of light dropping down like a lifeline from your higher self. This tendril of light begins to drop down while the orb stays exactly where it is. If you're a feeler, just feel what it feels like to have this above you. You may kind of feel like you're squinching down a little bit, like when you go through a bridge that's kind of low in your car and you duck your head. Or if you are someone who has a quote-unquote active imagination, aka you're clairvoyant, you may see this actual orb up there. Just sense it. And as this tendril of light drops down, no matter how clogged your, what I call the snow globe, your auric field, no matter how clogged, how goopy, how many emotions and feelings and other people's judgments and perceptions are all stuck around you, that little tendril of light's going to find an open space, and it's going to make its way into your field. And as that beautiful tendril of light touches the field around you, anything it touches is going to dissolve into pure source energy, pure light, perfection. So as this tendril of light drops down, it's going to make its way down into your field, which is usually about 5 feet up, 5 feet around you in all directions. Some people it's a lot bigger, some it's smaller. There's no good or bad, right or wrong. So if you need something to visualize, just visualize 5 feet up and around you. So as this tendril drops down, we bring to each individual a connection with their higher self. Maybe for the first time ever. And we ask the higher self, the real self of each individual, to show them what it feels like to feel the true frequency of their higher self, of love, of wisdom, of knowing. Because when we know things, we're not scared. It's the unknown, dear children. It's the unknown that just scares us straight. We can't think. We think of the worst. We get obsessed. So just allow this tendril of light to bring you any information that you need. You can even think about a situation and say, this medical issue that I'm having, just bring me the wisdom that I need for this. For your higher self technically, and we will not get into this, technically exists in a future dimension, so they know what's going to happen. It's like they're watching you on a movie. So allow the higher self to bring you the information, the wisdom, the knowledge that you need in order to lower your anxiety about anything that's unknown at this time. You can ask them to show you pictures in your head or give you a feeling of when this, say, medical issue or something is resolved, so you can actually feel what it feels like to have that peace. There we go. Good. Perfect. Some of you are like, no, I want to be stressed out. That's all I know. So you can ask your higher self to send you the energy you need to allow you to release that need for stress, that need for that cortisol pump, that fight or flight that keeps us going throughout the day. There we go. Perfect. Good. I've got a lot of people on the show today. I can see everyone all lit up. It looks like Google Maps to me. There we go. Perfect. So the tendril is going to drop down through your crown, and as it drops down through your crown, if it hasn't already, it's going to continue all the way down what's called the Kundalini. It's this little spiral that comes up around your spine, and it brings in source energy down into the earth all the way through you. It's like a little tube. So just allow this higher self tendril to drop down. You can either imagine it going down your spine, or you can imagine it actually going in a coil, or you can just say, hey, drop down through my body. I can't see you and I can't feel you, but I'm just going to play this game with this girl and see if this works. Intention is 99% of this. So allow this tendril to drop down through your head, through your neck, down through your chest, down into the solar plexus, which is just below the ribs, down into your second chakra, down into the root, out your tailbone. And it's going to continue to drop down until it touches on that little platform that we originally created beneath you. And when it does this, those two connecting become one. And you may begin to imagine the higher self tendril actually pulling this disc up. And I'm assisting in this. If you can't see it, do not get frustrated. You can practice this meditation. This is something you can do as a 30-minute meditation or a 30-second meditation. It's a technique that helps you to release using your higher self and your core base programming that you have within your human that you are. So just imagine as this platform underneath you begins to rise up, kind of like a strainer maybe. And as it comes up through the ground, I want you to set an intention to release whatever it is that is at the root of you being irritated about somebody being rude, or somebody playing the victim, or somebody plays the martyr, or they're always sick because they want attention, or whatever it is. They're always complaining about money, or there's so many things that get under our skin. Just kind of set the intention that whatever it is that's getting under your skin right now be released. And as this platform beneath you gets pulled up, kind of like your higher self is reeling this little platform in, it's going to come up through your feet, up through your legs, and as it does this, it's infusing you with all the energies that you need. Any energy that you need right now is being infused into your feet, into your ankles, your calves, your knees. This high frequency energy is clearing out all the way up through your thighs, your hips, your root, down by the base of your spine. And this root chakra, this is where we're carrying a lot of our programming. Just allow for this disc to clear out any inner children, any soul fragments. I'm facilitating this healing at this time on all of you. Just allow these things to reabsorb into your higher self, to be pulled back in to this platform, pulled back up, like your little inner children are jumping on a platform and riding an elevator back up to the higher self, to be reabsorbed. There we go. You may be thinking about childhood stuff, and if you are, that's good. It just means the energy's being cleared. So this platform is going to continue to move up through your second chakra below the belly button. We ask that all unresolved issues, all unresolved energies, emotions, feelings, fragments, cords, any separates, anything that is broken off from the original whole, anything that is inauthentic, inorganic, we ask that be dissolved now into the light of Source, into the Christ consciousness, and into the divine spirit that each individual is now. Allow this platform to continue to move up through the abdomen area, all the way through the solar plexus. This is where you carry all your judgments, where people judge you, you judge them, you judge their judgments for you. This is, you imagine the teenager with their arms crossed across their abdomen area here. They're blocking the energy. They don't feel comfortable because their awareness is likely just moved into this part of their body, and they're still trying to figure out who they are as an individual. When someone's shut down, they cross their arms over them. This is a big communication center for us. When it's blocked, we get adrenal fatigue. People have Crohn's disease, digestion issues, stomach issues, things of that sort, all because we have unreleased issues. So just allow this disc that your higher self tendrils pulling up through this abdomen area, allow it to clear out everything in the solar plexus for your highest and best good, in accordance with what your higher self wants. Continue to allow this disc to pull in energies that need to be replaced within the higher self, pulling it up through the heart, the shoulders, the arms. A lot of you are having a hard time getting it through the throat. So we just ask that any energies that are unwilling to move on their own, we ask that as long as it's for each individual's highest and best good and their higher self's plan, that these energies be released, removed, any attachments, any cords, any energies, entities, spirits causing this person's throat to be clogged. We ask that that be released now. There we go. So go ahead and pull the little platform up through the throat, through your head, all the way up through the brain, balancing all the neurotransmitters, all the hormones, everything, all the chemicals in the brain that make us act the way we do. We just ask that this little platform go through the head. And it's going to stop at the top of your head like a little hat. And from there, you'll invite in your higher self. So allow this ball to drop down onto the platform and sink down into the center of your brain. From there, we ask that the divine heavenly energies of the one unconditionally loving, true God source, the light of all creation, infuse each person with whatever it is that they need right now. And in doing this, you can visualize just a beam of light just shooting down onto you, into this bubble that's inside your head, expanding out until it's expanded out as big as your energy field, or what we call the snow globe. Allow this energy to expand out, clearing out everyone else's emotions, everyone else's feelings, all the ones that are keeping you down. once this bubble, you can sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 5 seconds. Just allow this bubble to expand out. When it's expanded, you will be grounded. You will be connected to your higher self. You'll be connected to Source. And you'll be in a state where you can work with your energy by calling forth different aspects of self. So what we'd like for you to do, just as a practice, and then we'll end this exercise, is I want you to say, I am now me at whatever age you want to choose. So you can say 12 or 14. I am now me at 12 years old. And I want you to feel the way the energy shifts. I want you to feel the way that you may feel tipped to one side, or you may feel lighter, you may feel happier, you may feel freer, or you may feel sad. I am now me at 12. Or I am now me on the first day of my job that I have now. I am now me on my wedding day. You can dictate whatever you want to be. And by doing this, my brothers, my sisters, my children, you may travel in time and heal anything without the need to look so closely at it, without the need to relive it. You can say, I am now me that was abused. But by doing this as your higher self, you're not that child. You're not the one that doesn't know when it's going to stop. You're not the one that doesn't know where life is leading you. You're you, but you are your higher self. And you're connected on all levels to Source, to Mother Earth, to unconditional love. So once you have turned yourself into, I am now me at 15, all you have to do is say, clear me, or you can ask the disc and your higher self to do the same thing. You can do the same type of healing process on that younger piece of yourself. But what we usually do is just say, please heal me. Send me whatever I need. Thank you. And then watch as Source, the divine light from above, sends down anything that is needed in my field and dissolves everything and makes me bright and shiny again, like a snow globe. You can also do this for the future. I am now me in 3 days. I am now me at my job interview. And you can clear yourself in advance for future things so that you can relieve anxieties and fears. So this is a highly effective tool that usually only second-degree Reiki people can do because they have the distance symbol. But by using this quantum aspect of self, which is your higher self that I've just attuned you to, this Source self, this God self, you can now go forward, you can go backward, you can become anything, and you can clear that, and you can call in the frequencies and the energies that you need from Source and from Mother Earth to bring about the changes and the resolutions that you want in your life. So when you are done, you can get out a piece of paper and maybe just write down the age that you are curious about becoming. If you feel anxious at all over any of this, becoming your 15-year-old or becoming a different age, if you feel any sort of uneasiness, it's usually because there's something in there that wants to be cleared. So you can say, what do you want? What do you need? And if they say, I just need attention, say, okay, Source, send me the frequency of attention. And just watch as the light comes down, fills you up, and then that uneasiness goes away. So get into a dialogue with yourself. Talk to yourself. It's kind of crazy, but you know. So anyway, when you're ready, just maybe jot down the age that you thought of, and you can do this later, re-listen to this in the archives. And you can do this for all different things, all different ages, all different gripes, all different future scenarios. And yeah, so wiggle your fingers and toes, and let's get to the rest of the show. So it was a little longer than expected, as always, but I've come to realize now that this show is actually a healing. I'm actually doing healing on everybody, which is very interesting to me. So I can actually see everybody all lit up like on a Google Maps or Google Earth. I can see all these little people everywhere with little lit up areas. And if they need healing, then I remote view, I go over and I do the healing on them. So it's very interesting. Today I split into like 4,000 pieces, and I could actually, that was very interesting. That was a first. That was definitely a first. They said, you may heal 5,126 people at once. That's it. Crazy. Anyway, anyways, this was something that the guides wanted to facilitate, and connecting everybody back with I don't know much about the Earth Star Chakra. I haven't channeled much about it. I don't know anything about it. So your guess and your knowledge about it is probably better than mine even. I just look like a little orb of light about 5 feet below me, spinning. And so read about it. Earth Star Chakra. But the root chakra is where we live when we're first born. So my daughter is in her root chakra. And when I say she is in her root chakra, I mean a little piece of her real self, of her higher self, breaks off and goes to live in this multidimensional being that is Madison. And that little piece, I call it our GoPro video camera. So that's our awareness, or what many call the I am. I call it the I am my I am. So when I'm centering myself each day, I'll put my hand on my heart and say, I am my I am. And I pull myself back into my heart and I say, come back. And I call all of my energy back, because our awareness can be in like a zillion places at once. And the way the planet's working at this time is wherever we are, that's what our body is processing. So a lot of people have fallen into the root chakra due to fear, due to the lovely media and all of the things that are happening on the planet right now. It's affecting people. And when we go into fear and we go into the unknowing, we drop down into this root chakra, where really we should only be between the ages like 0 to 3 or even 0 to 7. But what the guides have taught us is there's a different parts of the root chakra. So until you're 3, you have this being called your shepherd of light, and it kind of watches over you and blocks everything from you so you don't feel any real human emotions or anything like this. And you're kind of trapped in this little like bubble. But around 3 years old is when we still remain in the root to basically get our grounding on the planet, realize, oh, I'm a human being. Okay, I've got a roof over my head. I've got 2 parents or 1 parent or whatever. And I'm rich, I'm poor, I'm black, I'm white, I'm Mexican, I'm Indian. Whatever it is that we become at that 3-year-old mark, that's when we become our I am. We become that individual. We're no longer just a beam of our higher self source coming down into this human. We're starting to define ourselves as I am this, I am that. I am a girl, I am a boy. And if at any time in this process we get confusion and there's abuse, or we don't feel safe, or we get left in our crib crying for 2 days or something like that, that's when our I am gets distorted and we don't know who we are. Am I safe or am I not safe? So little pieces of us break off and they stay down in this lower level, while our little, what I call the GoPro video camera, continues to ascend up at the certain ages where we go up to the different chakras. Like it's about 7 years old, I think we go into the 2nd, and then our teenage years is the 3rd. Again, I don't read. I channel with my dad and with Bill and Gail, and everything I've learned is from the other side, listening to myself when I can handle listening to myself channel. It's so weird. But and this is all common knowledge stuff, spiritual stuff that you can look up online. But by doing this exercise I just taught you guys, you're pulling in all of these pieces that were shattered or scattered in this lower area. It's pulling it all in and bringing it back up to your higher self, because what will happen is when you get into an unsafe situation, or let's say we've got when we get triggered to be in fight or flight or fear or not feeling safe, we literally drop down into that piece of us. And a lot of the times it's the scattered piece of us or the shattered piece of us, and that takes over. Our brain follows suit with wherever our GoPro video camera goes. So if our GoPro video camera is in our 3rd chakra and it's like all about me, it's all about me, that's where our ego is. then I'm going to act that way. If my GoPro video camera is down in my second chakra, I'm going to be like all about, I need to find my soulmate. I need to find a job. I need to find friends. Our definition of who we are is kind of like not our tribe necessarily. A lot of people call it our tribe. That's the root chakra. That's like our nationality, our city, our state, our people, our political party, we get grouped into these mass groups where you would never hang out with these people, but you're hanging out with them because they're conservative or they're not conservative or they're Democrat or Republican, whatever the terms are. I'm not into politics, but whether they're right or left, you're hanging out with these people that you would never hang out with, but you have this one little similarity and now you are them. And you start to take on that energy and your body reacts to it. And a lot of people are getting sick because of the way that the media will say, like, well, you need to decide, are you a man or a woman? Because women's rights and blah, blah, blah. So our awareness is being pulled down while the whole process of ascension is us rising up, like that song, the Andra Day song that I love. It's like, rise up, rise up. We don't want to be in fear. We want to be in the pieces of us. The heart knows everything. It's a holographic piece of us that knows everything. And even up higher in the chakra system, you are God when you're up in your crown chakra. When you hold your awareness up there, it's hard to stay up there for very long because you get triggered. Somebody cuts you off on the freeway, they flip you off, and boom, you're back down to the root chakra. So we're going up and down all day long. And it's about being aware of when we drop down and being able to stop, say, okay, come in, higher self, bring in this little platform. Let's reel my consciousness back up to the top, pull it back into my mind, expand out with God's light, and let's go about the day. And you would be surprised at how fast you can get at doing this and how easy it is to do it. And it's just the awareness that you can fix the way you feel so quickly is just so empowering because you are 100% control over your emotions and feelings. You're 100% control over your energy. No spirit, no entity, no cord, no other person can come into your energy without your permission. And if they do, and you say, hey, beat it, buddy, they have to go. It's universal law. They have to go. Everyone got an amazing healing. Go to www.patreon.com. I have a 100% off coupon on there for all of my students that pledge $10 a month, where you can get meditations, books, everything for free. I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much for everything, and we will see you soon. Love you.